enter into treaty. Well, Bible scholars had been talking about that since I'd been a child, and of course that interested me. And so I clicked on that story for more detail, and it said that the treaty had been negotiated by one Javier Solana, Javier Solana, acting under a full power of attorney from the European Union and the 10-nation Western European Union, a military federation. And I hadn't seen the name before. It was unfamiliar to me. And the treaty was also signed by Shimon Peres, who was the acting prime minister of Israel right after the assassination of Yitzhak Rabin, which was November 4th of 1995. So I went to I pulled out some CDs that I had with archived information and looked up Javier Solana in the news story collections and found out he had sent Spanish warships against Canada earlier in 1995 in what were almost termed the Great Fishing Wars of 1995. And there had been almost a shooting war at high sea between Spain and Canada, and Spain had sent 3 Spanish warships, and Spain was fishing Canada's halibut, turbot, and cod stocks almost to the point of extinction. And when Canada took one of the Spanish trawlers into custody that had come officially into Canada's waters, then Javier Solana dispatched 3 Spanish warships acting under his powers as Spanish foreign minister at that time. And while I was looking at that story, AOL flashed up a brand new story at me. And they said the earthquake had come in the wake of an expected political earthquake in the form of the Barcelona Conference, which would be opening in Spain in a few more days, November 27th and 28th it was to run, and that the delegates were even now preparing to gather and preliminary meetings were taking place, and that Javier Solana, same name, would be exclusively in charge, and that there were 3 major items on their agenda. 1, battle religious fundamentalism worldwide. Number 2, favorable trading terms for the European countries in the group vis-a-vis the oil producers. And number 3, get the United States out of the Mediterranean. They said that 15 European Union countries and 12 North African Middle Eastern countries would be participating. And that they said the United States had requested observer status or participant status and had been granted observer status only, and that the only Middle Eastern country not participating was Libya, and that Muammar Gaddafi had screamed at Arab League delegates a few days earlier, "What's the matter with you idiots? Can't you see this is a blatant European attempt to gain hegemony over our region?" And that's exactly what it was. Anyway, thanks to knowing how to use the Internet proficiently, I too had observer status, even though it was the poor man's way. I calmly pulled down the working documents that they had posted out there. I pulled down all the press releases being generated by the event, and I followed all the newspaper articles on the Internet using the then Alta Vista search engine and tracked it daily. Solana achieved that treaty November 28th. They all but called him the Prince of Peace. Ehud Barak of Israel said, "We have beaten our swords into plowshares. At last Israel has joined the European Club." I've sent emails to everybody in my personal distribution list on November 28th of 1995. And I think I did a radio interview with Southwest Radio Church about a month after that. And I said, watch out for this guy. And 2 days later, my phone starts ringing off the hook from folks who had received my email saying, "Turn on your television quick." And I turned on my television, and there was Javier Solana. He had just been unanimously, from out of nowhere, made the new head of NATO, to the utter astonishment of the Spanish press, because he was the leader of the Spanish opposition to NATO. He was best known for haranguing crowds saying, "We are radically opposed to Spain's entry into NATO," and he had written a pamphlet, 50 Reasons to Say No to NATO. And I was dumbfounded. I sent a telegram, email to the White House. 52 congressmen sent a telegram too, I understand, and a month later I came home and my husband said, "You have a letter from the White House." And indeed I did. It was thanking me for expressing my opinions on Dr. Solana. It was signed by President Clinton, or appeared to be signed personally by him. But here's the interesting thing, Sherry. I have never used my home address on a single piece of email. I have always given my business address on Telegraph Road in Bloomfield Hills, Michigan. And the thank you letter came to our home.
Yeah, well, they know who you are. I mean, when you're on the internet, you're out there. They know exactly where you are.
Yep, and there's good things and bad things about it. People say, maybe as a Christian you shouldn't be on the internet. And I said, hey, I need to be on there looking around, seeing what's going on, and if for no other reason, so I know when it's time to boogie on out. If you're going to communicate using computers and fax machines, I don't intend to use carrier pigeons and tin cans.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the way it is. I mean, we know that they've been keeping lists and everything of everybody who does anything on the internet.
Yeah.
It's no secret, and I've always said that you're much safer using your real name than hiding behind one.
Exactly. And, it's many Christians are caught flat-footed on this and do not know what's going on because they have avoided the internet, and so for that reason, the New Agers and the globalists have been quite free to post at will on the internet, safe in the assumption that most Christians won't know they exist.
Yeah, well, we've had the same amount of luxury and fun. I mean, we've got all kinds of information out there to the Christians who are looking for truth.
Right.
And it's been working for both sides.
Exactly.
And I know the Lord has me up. I've got about 12 websites up now, all covering different areas.
Well, good for you.
And He just leads the people to them.
Right.
I put them up, and He leads them. And I try to stay on the ball. Prophetic events. I've been on the alien agenda for years, and kind of making a loop circle back to, last day's prophetic events.
Right.
And so I've been following all of the beasts that are going to be coming.
Yeah.
The different ones that can come. You know what? We've got to wrap up the first hour. Can you call back in the second hour?
I would be very happy to. What time would you like me to call you back?
We'll start the second hour in about 5 minutes. We're going to go on a 5-minute break, wrap up the first hour. And then, so if you want to call back in about 5 or 6 minutes.
Be happy to do it.
Okay.
Thanks,
Sherry?
Okay.
Bye.
Yes, Steve?
I was going to say she can stay, but she's gone now.
Yeah, she can call back. It's probably easier for everybody. And, okay, folks, what we're going to do is wrap up this first hour. We're going to come back with some more of Constance, talk about Harvey Air still on her. We'll be right back in about 5 minutes.
Wise men follow him. Thank God for the rain.
This is the Reality Radio Network on Telstar 5 Transponder 5 and on the internet at realityradionetwork.com.
Do you know where the 78 potentially active volcanoes in U.S. are located? And do you know the locations of the top 300 prime terrorist targets? You can find these answers and more in the new interactive CD book, Prudent Places USA. With the more than 50 interactive parameters, you can pinpoint natural and man-made disaster areas, brewing environmental catastrophes, the safest cities, the best places for solar and wind energy, and much, much more. Complete with 3 gigabytes of detailed information on each of 3,000-plus counties in the U.S., including 550 high-resolution full-color maps and full-color photographs, as well as detailed information and analysis to help you zero in on the best places to live, the ideal location for cabins and vacation homes, as well as safe and unsafe areas. Get Prudent Places USA for only $29 plus shipping by calling New Millennium at 888-803-4438. That's 888-803-4438 to order on the web or at berkeywater.com. Now you can enjoy the most delicious, freshest, and healthiest drinking water anytime, even while traveling, during outdoor sporting activities, and in hospital filtration environments such as local or national emergencies. The revolutionary Berkey Light removes pathogenic bacteria, cysts, parasites, and harmful or unwanted chemicals to below detectable levels. It also removes foul tastes and odors like that rotten egg smell of sulfide, and it reduces nitrates and unhealthy minerals like lead and mercury while leaving in the healthful and nutritional minerals your body needs. The Berkey Light is so powerful it can purify raw, untreated water from remote lakes, streams, and stagnant ponds. The Berkey Light is transparent and glows in the dark with its rechargeable LED lighting system, so it can be used as a night light or camp light. Get the Berkey Light for only $259 by calling New Millennium at 888-803-4438. That's toll-free, 888-803-4438, or order on the web at berkeywater.com. Not yet available in Iowa.
Hi, this is Steve for Radio Labs.